right. We are back. All politics are local. America's number one hip hop and talk radio show. I'm Baba Zaid Muhammad. I'm going to walk you through this next segment. Got two strong young men to my left and to my right. We're going to talk about the Iowa caucuses and what that means to us locally, as well as just segue from some of the previous discussion. To my left, we have the deputy mayor of the great city of Newark, New Jersey, Rahman Muhammad.
What's up,
What's
my
going
brother?
on, little brother? What's going on?
Well, my brother.
And to my right, former mayor of Orange.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Hawkins.
Glad to be here.
Good to have you with you, young man. Good to have you with me, all right? Now, before we jump into the Iowa caucuses and all of that, and I should say, the great Donna K. Williams will be with us as soon as she finishes a negotiation with traffic. That's what happens when you're late. And you're in the car.
Hey, man.
People
Hey, Donna, what's taking you so long?
And they don't know how to get out of the way.
I'm not throwing stones.
But our madam will be here in a minute. We'll just throw her in the mix as soon as she gets here. Before us, we have to acknowledge, just had a loaded session with our beloved Pastor Brian Ali.
Yes.
And, of course, our host with the most, our head leader in charge, Ed Riley, talking about the tragic loss of Kobe Bryant and everyone who was a part of that tragedy. And also, of course, before we even jump into our locals, the stuff we need to talk about, any updates that you think that's important to give us from what's happening on the city's front, you need to do that too, right? Yeah. So I think we should start just with a few words of reflection on the impact of the life and the loss of this young man, Kobe Bryant. Why don't you start?
Well, anytime you have a tragic loss of somebody that's an icon, and I'm going to call him that because he's been compared to Michael Jordan. That was my day. I'm not that old, but still, Jordan was my day. Kobe's the new one. We've all seen the videos where they're doing the same moves. But his life extended far beyond the court. Yeah. I started to see, especially now since he's passed, everybody wants to post things after the fact, right? And some negative things are coming out, some allegations and stuff, and then there's people pushing back, and you see even more clearly now, in my opinion anyway, the great things that he's done, the impact he's had on young people, making it possible for them to understand that they can do more, they can be bigger and greater than their immediate circumstances. And I think that's important. And we definitely suffered a loss with Kobe going down in that helicopter. But let's not forget, although he was the star, he wasn't the only one that lost his life. There were several other people on that plane or helicopter, several other people on a helicopter, including his daughter, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So it was a tragedy all around. We may be more familiar with his name, but we definitely suffered a loss, on this earth because of what happened.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest with you. It hurt me. Probably the only other death that affected me, like Kobe's, is when B was murdered. Like I was really hurt when I heard about Kobe. I mean, I wasn't a Laker fan, but I was always a fan of that brother. I thought he was a great basketball player. I mean, you hated him on the opposite side of the court against your team.
You like the Lakers? What?
Yeah, I wasn't.
Not even when Magic was there?
Man, the funny thing is, most of my friends either Cowboy or Lakers.
Me and Ali go back to Jerry West. That's my generation.
Yeah, I've never been a Lakers fan. I've always been opposing. It seems like everybody wanted to be on their bandwagon. Yeah. So I'm a Knicks fan, but listen, you hate.
We did a lot of prayer.
Yeah, we do. You hate to see Kobe on the other side when he played the Knicks. You knew you was gonna have a problem that night. You know what I'm saying, right? So it's a tragic loss, man. I mean, like not just to his family, everybody that was on that plane. It just wakes you up to the fact that this man had so much to live for, and he's gone today. Right. And so when you look at your life, how meaningful your life is. Now, every day you above ground, man, is important. You need to start spending it wisely, man, and dealing with your family and doing what's positive.
Well, it just it underscores the fact, though, that no matter how much money you have, you're still mortal.
Yes,
right? Sometimes we idolize these folks and think they're larger than life, but we're all flesh and blood. We can be taken away in a minute. So in some sense, we can look at that and say, we have to seize every day as if it's our last day.
I think what Muslims say is we're all equal in the grave.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's so the deal is, Hey, listen, man. Prayers to that brother's family, man. I know it's got to be difficult for him and his wife, man. But it's tragic, brother. I just don't know what to say, man. Like I said, he's gone. It's part of life and reality. Death is all around us. People die every day. It's that much more important because of who he was to us. But at the end of the day, man, folks gonna move on too. The thing that I look at with the Kobe does the same thing with Nipsey. Everybody, showing we want to do this, but give it a week, just like they did with Nipsey, and after he's on to the next story, they forgot what the importance of what them individuals stood for, and how hard work. I actually made his quote my cover photo because I think it's important to understand. About don't compare me to other folks who lazy. You know what I'm saying? That if you ain't out there doing the best you can be, like don't put me in that same group. Because we get a lot of people out here that make excuses on why they can't succeed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was saying he was like, don't put me in that boat. Don't connect me to what they are. You know what I'm saying? It's not me thinking I'm better than you. It's just that if you want to be just as good as me, you just got to work as hard as me. And I think we got to get away from these excuses. But listen, man. God bless that man and his family, brother.
Yeah, I was taken back as everyone was. But I just was quiet. I wanted to really just see how everybody else was handling this, and if I could lend anything that was different to the discussion and to the whole paradigm of collective grieving. I was trying to figure out what that would be. I would say several things. One, in the short 41 years that young man lived, several things stand out. One, he was one of the first to break into the NBA coming out of high school, and doing what he did at the level he did it on, right? And that's important. That's important because he was a good, healthy example for others of us who trying to make that decision. Should I do the college thing first? Will I have the opportunity at the end of that thing? Do I run the risk of blowing that by injury?
Sometimes you got to chase the dream,
right?
But
he did it. He did well, right? Life was not without mistakes. Those allegations that came at him about some of his behavior. Okay, it's something that he grew past. Thankfully, I'm not going to, at this point, I'm certainly not going to judge that young man, right? I would dare say that the law of God is judge, but he was able to recover from that indiscretion that comes with youth and comes with youth and privilege, right?
And fame.
Yes.
And have a lot of things thrown at you. It happens.
Yeah, it definitely happens. He was very mortal, right? But the fact that he was able to recover from that with his family, is important to appreciate. I think that's important to appreciate. In terms of his game, he goes down as an all-time great.
Yes,
he's a pure shooter. He's a pure scorer. He was extremely disciplined and driven. He earned every dime and every ounce of fame that he got. And the thing that stood out in terms of how our community grieved is that with him losing his daughter, their relationship was very public.
No question.
Right? And so you see this plethora of young and not so young men all over Facebook and Twitter getting those pics in with their girls, right? And I've got girls, so I was definitely feeling that, and that's healthy too. That's for all of the tragedy. If it sharpens the need and rekindles the awareness in us to reclaim and be conscious of the value and the importance of our relationships with our children, and certainly that young man's death has not been vain. Now, one thing now this is Newark, New Jersey. I'm gonna bring it back and make it very local, right? As a revolutionary artist, this town is making a comeback as a mural town.
Oh yeah, it's all over.
Within 3 days,
Beautiful mural.
8 different cities had put up beautiful murals dedicated to this young man and his daughter. Right? 8 cities within 3 days. LA and Boston had one up within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And mural art is hard work.
Yeah.
You got to take, it usually takes weeks, months even, depending on the detail, and that's serious work.
Right.
But they pulled that together, and then Went as far away as Melbourne, Australia. That's the other side of the world.
That one's
Right?
Thailand too.
That's right. Now,
Philippines.
Philippines. Tegong City. Right? Heavy.
They did it on the whole basketball court.
Right, man, Donald Williams is now joining us. We're getting ready to jump in. We're talking about Kobe Bryant before we jump into the Iowa caucus, and we're just doing our rounds and that. So, you catch your breath. You ready to jump on in the circle. You know how you work. All right.
Donald brought a Bible up in here. Come on, bring it strength.
Start preaching.
I'll pick up. I don't know.
All right, Rock. No jokes.
Where, for me, I know I was at Jersey Gardens on Sunday, and the brother walked up to me, and he was like, "You hear this happened to Kobe?" I was like, "Yeah, he gave Ron a big up, the night before, and told him to carry on." I was like, "Nah, he passed." And I was like, you go to the phone and verify, and it was like just populating, and it was just such a surreal moment, and I don't know, and just while I'm not a person who followed Kobe, I've always been a fan of just what he's done in the public. Like, I did know what he was doing with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I was familiar with that, and how he showed up outside the court. I've always seen that. I was very impressed with that. But just, the magnitude of the hurt, I can't even imagine what his wife is going through. Words are just
other children.
Yeah, and everybody that was on that plane, and
their families, yes.
And then there's this, one of the things I did post, it was almost as, I don't get into being so deep to think of what was God and, purpose and all of this, but I do think it came at a time when the world needed almost to let go and cry. There's so much negativity going on out there. We see what's going on at a federal level. You hear people every day saying that they're stressed out from things that are coming over and how things are going. So I think when people have been holding so much in, it gave us an opportunity not as a California state, not as a Jersey state, but as a world, where I see all these people in the Philippines.
Blowing up y'all blowing up the mic today.
He was a global person, and how people have, the outpouring had come out, but what really I saw is that how our men were publicly mourning, and that said a lot to me. That it was just a time that I think we just needed to all take a pause, step back. The only thing I hate about those moments is so short-lived that we just get back.
Saying, we'll be back. Soon after the memorial, everything will be back.
Exactly.
To know we've been and forgot about his death, no different than we forgot about Nipsey's. And I'm saying, everybody be back to normal.
I don't know if that's totally true, because anytime you have these celebrities go, it only takes a little bit of time before they start fighting over his estate in the news.
It's already started.
I mean, yeah, well, that's they said, well, listen, I mean, ultimately, listen, that's between him and his family, right? But the most important part, right, the message the public get from it, right? And I think probably one of the most profound things his brother said was his last game, when he said that I would like to be known as a person who had the talent but played like I didn't have the talent. You know what I'm saying? And the deal is, that's real, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, we know a lot of people who, I just had this conversation with my daughter because I had to go see a teacher. We know a lot of people who say they smart, or people say, oh, that person's smart. Yeah, but if you don't act smart, if you're not doing smart things, I'm questioning whether you're smart or not. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people with potential. You know what I'm saying? The question, are you going to utilize the potential? So, I think that potential.
Yeah, I like that quote you used too, because it speaks to a certain amount of humility, and that he stayed hungry. Right? He didn't hit a certain level and just say, all right, I did it, I got it like that. That fire was always there. Always grinding, trying to get to that next level, never taking it for granted. And I think that fire is what helped make him great.
I came across one of his posts. Apparently, he got an award and he couldn't be there. So he came up on the jumbo screen, and he was I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I want to be there with you.